You will not save your teammate if it's up to Bailey. Yusri may have the health advantage, but Yusri has his back against the wall right now. The defensive trade, a huge shot, and Bailey gets caught with his pickaxe out. Yusri clutches up, saves his teammate, and they are in game 2.
Sends him back to the lobby. But third place, NA West, Cool Yumi getting busy already. Elimination on the Wox. Now it's up to Rob Bob, trying to stay alive here, trying to get and find a position to where he can hide. You see it in the mini-map. He just got out, and I love that play coming out from some of these players, choosing not to be the hero, because you end up in the hero in the wrong position, you're end up going to be a 0.
Now, Robap doesn't have a lot of experience here. They've only made 2 finals together between Wox and Robot, but there's a huge development happening here. Let's watch this back one more time. Here's how it kicks off. Cool finds the huge tag. All of a sudden, the knock is there. And yes, there was a third party in the side. You get the reaction as well. You can see how fans are cheering in support of one another. But back into the action. Hellfire, Falconer, new duo, you know, pairing up with one another.
They already took down King, so this has got to be Ed coming out from Brazil. EU, NA West trying to take down the region, trying to bolster their points, because right now the only points they have is that elimination onto King. But with Storm now covering and moving over them, Ultimate Team is now in the distance as well. It's going to become more and more dangerous.
Falconer's one of the only competitors, one of the very few left in our scene that has been here since the World Cup. He placed 5th in duos way back when. Wait for him to step up to the challenge and take on this first FNCS Finals ever together alongside Hellfire there from Denmark. But on one Mbaka, did they get the save off?
No, I think On was there by himself. He's just trying to stay alive, and it does look like Larson and Smite might know he's there. And this is where On1 has to be very, very careful. Fighting in the storm with very little HP. Larson knocking on the door, trying to burst his way in. You see the bait and switch come through, trying to make sure that both of these players have enough HP to take a big shot from On1 and continue that bait and switch, but he is on the run.
What a tough story for On1 and Mbaka. Such a great and strong showing in game 1. He loses his teammate to Mr. Savage out the gate, survives, saves him, but Smite and Larson, who are contested here by Looter and Muzz, are still in the zone, and they meet him, and that's how they get this first elim. So it's only a matter of time now as their clock rages on. Smite steps up, and there it is. The zone does the rest, and they will find their second elim now, wiping up one of the greats from NA West.
Now they gotta go ahead and travel to zone, but back on board, Falconer and Hellfire, but let's just make it Hellfire because Ed was able to take down Falconer in a 1v2 situation. Now he's 1v1 versus EU. Brazil trying to stand up tall. Ed put the pressure onto those covers, but he knows when to pick and choose his fights. He hears the splashes coming out. He knows that's going on to Falconer. The shield keg as well. He's trying to stop as much of the heals from going through, but it does look like Hellfire is gonna get 200 yet again.
Listen, Ed recently signed to Team Liquid, showing you guys why exactly he deserves to be here. He has had some of the most impressive rises in recent times on his region, but now he's looking to represent for Brazil and, of course, for Argentina. His teammate King, who is already down. Hellfire manages to lose his teammate. The wall gets taken, and Hellfire has to react quickly, but look at that. He does not miss a beat. Ed finds the siphon, and now it's an even exchange.
Yep. Right now, the 2 launch pads on the Hellfire. He can abandon this fight at a moment's notice.
Here it
but
is.
Ed with no HP, it's all or nothing.
Here it
this
is.
is the moment you've been waiting for.
Here it is.
Coming through, and Ed 1v2s at a East.
Brazil and Argentina are probably standing on their feet right now. Ed clutches up a 1v2.
Oh my gosh, and if somehow, some way, he found a way to get King's card, but they're on over to Chonker Speedway. The action will continue. Reason and Aqua going up against Hen and Bevy and Vortexers. They have a lot of practice going against each other on the EU region, so this is no strange fight to them.
What's scary about this is the fact that they've rotated out of the condo down to the territory of Booga and Miro at Chonker Speedway. And yes, they get met with this incredible duo, but it shows you that no one is safe. This entire area is such a deadly play zone, and now you have Reason with the scraps, with his back against the wall, below the storm surge, absolutely ready to commit to this battle.
Yep, Aqua and Reason again, 140 below the damage threshold. And you can see all the players at the top of the damage threshold, but this is, again, what is going to happen at Cloudy Condos. A triple contested spot, but nobody is fighting. That's forcing these players to rotate away to find some extra loot and find the damage. And 165 below, Monster, I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't nervous.
Copenhagen Flames Pablo and Swag on your screen right now, also below. But hey, a good little tag here of Elim for Swag right now, puts him in a nice position. They find a player out in the distance, Snacky and Fast have a window open there, focusing on the duo as well. So they're all looking to target Noah Riley and Bad Sniper. Remember, Noah Riley was eliminated very early to the hands of Edgy while they were landing, and he didn't even get to touch down before he was swatted out the sky.
And game number 1 winners, Cammy and Seti, they haven't even done much. They get the zone for now. They get the high ground, probably just trying to go for Surge. So that way when they are forced to rotate, they only have to worry about that. But we knew they were down onto Surge. Now the Peace Control is trying to come over. They're trying to break into the boxes. It's now or never because damage is being dished. A huge shot from Aqua's onto Bevy, who's forced back into a defensive position.
Well, here we go. It's now enough in 20 seconds left, but so the Surge gets active, and they have to turn up right now. This is game number 2. Aqua needs these points here. Bevies manages to go ahead and chug splash his way down. He's back up to Vex HP. He's looking pretty solid, but Aqua not afraid by any means. Meanwhile, Reason finds a wall. That's an angle, but he doesn't like the defensive edit that responds from Bevy and Vortexer. And now, here it is. Things are going to get dicey as the Storm Surge turns on.
Yeah, look at them. You can see 30 below. Even though they're continuously dropping, they're doing damage. Seti getting one on a Peppo, probably sending him back to the lobby as Scram goes down as well. Acorn found a way to get rebooted, but Deja Vu strikes. He goes down again to Epic Whale, who honestly is having a much better performance this go around.
But back into the action here. Reason now down to no HP. Aqua is also on the defensive stance here. Down goes Reason. That's a huge shotgun shot from Vortexer from the side. If you blinked, you missed it, and now Aqua has all the pressure on his shoulders. He has to back up. But Vortexer playing smart, respecting the GOAT of EU. Aqua here, our World Cup duo champion, is now left as a solo. Clock's ticking here, the pressure comes in. Bevy's looking for any angle. These are all enemy walls here. One false move and it could be it, but the Surge is gonna hurt Aqua again. He gets to heal off and no, he gets finished. Vortexer finds the second.
500 above the damage threshold. This is only their second FNCS playing together, and they're looking like they are longtime teammates already as Joe and Z Andy, uncontested, over towards Synapse Station, looking to get some damage as well. Even though 79 is above the damage threshold, you know as well as I do, that is absolutely nothing.
Nixon and Arctor here. Oh, no, they're going to find a huge elimination here. Another Surge fight that's going down. It's tracking the flies in the distance there. You see folks starting to look over. Arctor has a decision to make. Does he push in again? They barely have anything. They've used all their heals. One tag is all it's going to take for take them out. Oh, Grove claps back, though, and that's a huge punishment there. And with the downed body, he says, you know what? I'm going to full finish here. I'm back in this game. Arctor takes off running for the hills.
That was a much needed battle by Groves, and I like to play again. You cannot be a hero in these lobbies as Mustache. Looking like he's having a little bit of trouble here. 202 above the damage threshold. 2 eliminations already, so they finished this fight, but you can see the teams on the outskirts of Rocky Reels, they don't want to let this be an easy rotation to one of the deadliest teams in the lobby.
The launch pad's already down. Malibu and Mustache cap off HP and hit it. Off they go. It's Chicho and Trulix who are looking in. These guys have gone head-to-head so many times in the past, and you know there is all types of bad stories waiting to unfold in front of us. But Chicho and Trulix don't get the Elim. They manage to hit the ground running. Malibu and Mustache are waiting here, though. Well, yeah, time to fight back.
Malibu just trying to break through. He talked about in some of those interviews playing a little bit more passive than what he's used to. 2 eliminations. I gotta think they're trying to pick and choose a lot of their battles, but the lobby is putting such a focus onto these 2, getting them to expend so many resources. Malabuka has just about 60 to 70 HP as well. Mustache is trying to do what he can to try to find a stabilization method here, but it's just happening from so many different players who have so many different angles.
One thing that is working, though, is the zone. It pulls pretty close to all the players nearby. Finally, things settle down. Tayson and Chapik's last game found the same duo on the edge, but let's jump on over to the west side. Let's get to the opposite side. It's Thomas HD and Tripburn. What a great standing so far here, looking pretty solid. They have Janice and Vidil weakened nearby. Booga and Miro are also making it much further this game, looking like they've adjusted, learned from their last mistakes, but here we go, that familiar story, 3 above.
Yeah, and you can kind of see in the circle is, the zone is literally in the center of the zone. So I don't think there's going to be too much of any slow side for a lot of these teams to try to travel to. Is Miro taking a couple of shots, but the team that won off spawn trying to have a much better performance. Mr. Savage and Eyedropper under siege, under pressure. Mr. Savage is going to get dropped for now, trying to pass on the resources to Eyedrop because he knows he's going to have to deal with a lot.
Yep, Norway on his back here. Eyedrop has to step up. Savage is down. Can he do it? He's been in so many finals with Mr. Savage. His 3rd appearance now in a big setting like this. But of course, the first return to in-person. They're going to allow, Marine might actually allow him to get the pickup. Whoa, that is a huge mistake there.
Yeah, a huge mistake. And honestly, these are one of those things that you take a picture, you record this moment right here. Mr. Savage went down. You give a player like that a second chance at life, they will make you regret it. As they're trying to launch pad away, trying to find some sort of safety. Sticking box to box, hip to hip, landing on a couple more resources as well. This is a perfect spot to land at for Eyedrop and Mr. Savage. That way they can replenish some of the lost resources.
Such a massive find right there. It was looking like it was all over for a moment. But there, they get a little lucky. Smite and Larson at 4 elims now. It seems like as all the action, as all the cooks jumped into the kitchen, they have managed to walk away with a successful meal or 2. They're looking pretty good.
4 elims, like you said. Clown Ref's guard, just a little bit above them. You just check a sneak peek at the leaderboard. Cammy and Seti still holding on to first place by 7 to Asia's Barim and Zagu. 151 above for the NA West. 3-time champions, Favs and Snacky, sitting in a good spot, trying to gather the information. But Vadiel and Janice are under pressure, with Vadiel down, 56 below the damage threshold. Shots from Thomas HD to take down another EU powerhouse.
And in the distance, Japan is just lurking nearby. Asia has performed so well. Remember, Mareem and Zagu are in 2nd place as the most recent FNCS champions of the Asia region. Easy and Vino, though. Big story in front of them. This is a team that we have expected to come out so far ahead of the competition, as they have had one of the more dominating tracks leading into this, taking home a multitude of Elite Cup finals where the competition, as we know it, is extremely tough. Meanwhile, Smite and Larson, battle's breaking out above them. They get to steal the loot here. That's a great find.
Yeah, that's a huge find for them. You get to upgrade some of your inventory, get some more heals. The Chroma Splash probably going to be used a little bit later just to get that rotation to come through. For them, they found a huge amount of resources. That way they could try to make it towards the next end game. But you see Storm Surge just still affecting so many teams.
Tough spot for being there for Larson as he misses the heal. And Anas and Pink go down from the high ground. It's Vortex in hand. They are just turning this lobby upside down right now. Queasy and Vino are back at it again, though, in this end game here, trying to find a position. Now, remember, what they did in the last game was exactly this. Half in, half out. They say, hey, we're going to play for high ground. Vortex says, all right, you can have it. Hen says, you can have it. I'm going to low.
Yep, I got to be careful here. Queasy and Vino both know 6th moving zone, which is about to happen here shortly, is one of those zones to where, yeah, you might have the high ground now, but with the amount of launch pads going around, the amount of threats that are in this lobby, you might have to stagger your teammates 1 forward, 1 back, just to make sure nobody is able to sneak it away.
Oh, this is looking like a tough situation right now for our champions, Mareem and Zagu. Once again, leading into this game, 2nd place. No heals. Very, very peculiar spot to be in. The zone pulls far south as well. Now, they have some mats, but they will absolutely need a refresher right now. Maybe even a gifted launch pad from a team in the distance. All around them are so many healthy players. On the other side, Vino and Queasy starting to eye up the lobby, size up the rest of this game here. Booga finds Mareem in the feed. There it is. The full finish is going to start to come through. The first elim for Booga and Miro.
This is where I'm looking at the minimap right now, seeing where it's actually going to go. There's different elevations. I think whoever is able to grab a side of that mountain first will have the best chances to win this game overall, as they're still 500 above the damage threshold. Cammy, as soon as he lands, he's going to get back up to 200 along with Seti as well.
Kanata still alive in this game as well. Keep an eye out for him, but Seti and Cammy have to defend their lead right now. 3 elims, what a way to do it so far. Meanwhile, Queasy and Vino are still on height. This is one of the toughest end zones as well. Flutter Barn has so much varying terrain. You have to be careful. There are indestructible, large stone monuments in between you and your rotate.
But Kanata going down, leaving Macwood as a solo. They at least got one elimination, so they don't have to worry too much about damage in terms of Storm Surge. But Bugha and Mero, as it does shut off, you saw they were well above it. So changing up their strategy, and it's paying off handedly.
The pacing is incredible right now. Only 19 duels remaining. Things have really taken a turn here for the worse for most. Reed's gonna get burned and turned back to the lobby there as he falls, but that's still well inside the top 20. Meanwhile, Vino on high ground, looking very comfortable. No resistance. Larson and Smite are making up for where they left off. They may have not earned a huge game one, but a great game two. And now Mero and Bugha are fighting back.
Yeah, two of the big NA West powerhouses going down. They're trying to get another elimination, but Bugha and Mero, huge shots gonna be fired, but Mero's getting tagged back up. He needs that Siphon to go through, but it's still not gonna be enough. PH then does go down. Bugha trying to be that IGL. He's trying to lead him to greener pastures, but he's running out of resources. Macwood falls. High ground though. Does Vino and Queasy still have that position onto the high ground of Smart and Lawson? They're not ultimate low, but they found themselves that perfect middle layer.
And you'll notice Bugha is now left by himself. KBR finds his teammate Smite and Larson on the ultimate low. Hen and Vortex front side firing back and on height. Vino and Queasy are looking like this is a fairy tale game for EU once again, but we'll see if NA can step up to the damage. Let's see it. Hen is going to be punished and now hunted down. Smite doesn't find the full elim here, but my gosh, already at 6 eliminations. Meanwhile, we jump over. Sentin and Cole still alive here. This is where they do best. Like we said before, it's bread and butter. They know how to stick it to hit. They have to now. Cole is hurt.
Multiple top placings out of this duo. Not wanting to fall short here today, but Cammy and Seti from high ground to low ground. Another end game is going to be achieved. True Lex gets dropped. Smite's going to go ahead and lend that helping hand, trying to steal away all of that loot, but the zone is just immediately chunking him out. 4 HP and a dream for Smite.
And a huge end game right now in front of Smite here. That top 5 unlocked before him. Cammy goes down, Seti goes down, and it is all his here. And now he fights back, but the zone does the rest. Great game there, but Vortex is now by himself. What can he do? Cole and Sentin now have the high ground. They've turned the story around.
I don't know how they sold it away, but Kitos is solo as well. High ground versus low ground, but it's a 2v2. Sentin and Cold versus Vortexers and Hen. This is going to come down to the wire monster, and this is going to come down to Sentin and Cold when and where they drop down low.
Once again, we are looking at an NA versus EU finish. Cold is going to get big tag there by Vortex on the low ground. 7 elims, no builds. It's looking very, very tough, and it's the same story for Hen as well. It's all or nothing. Can they find something here? But Sentin and Cold, although they have the height, they are also running extremely low on resources. But if there's a team that can do it, it is them.
Yeah, you see them trying to go back outside of zone, trying to find anything to work with in terms of Hen and Vortex. Sentin and Cole, they talked about, it's up to them when and where they drop down low. The game is definitely in their hands. They just have to close it out. EU versus NA East. This one is just a prolonged long game, but the damage is in from Cold.
And this is what we talked about. That wall, there's nothing you can do. It's all or nothing. Down goes Cole. Sentin's hurt too, but they have the angle. They're going to wait this one out just for a little bit and allow the zone to do the rest. Cole finds the one, and Sentin finds the other. NA takes game number 2.
You look at that. The passion, the emotion coming out of Sentin and Cold. A team from NA East. Honestly, I don't think they got the right respect coming into this event because of what happened to them last season.
That's right. Cold and Sentin have been here before, and now they get a victory in person, on stage against some of the best we have ever seen. And what a way to do it. EU Game 1, NA Game 2. It looks like the stories are tied.
Right there was perfect because you heard me talking about wanting them to drop down low. I want to see what they're thinking, how they're feeling. Kelly, let us know.
I am joined here by Cold and Sentin, and you guys, what an incredible run. You got to tell me, though, how did you take height?
So Queasy and Vino just dropped on our sidewalls, and we insta-edited and just shot them.
I mean, obviously a great strategy, right? But I mean, that final moment there, how did you know how to take them down? Obviously, you guys were kind of in that high ground, low ground fight. What was the final moment like?
Honestly, cold call to just drop above him and sit there. I don't know. He did most of it that game. He played really well. He's the GOAT.
All right, man. Well, congratulations. You both are the GOAT now. That is game 2 VR for you guys. Let's head on back to the desk.
As EU picks up the first game of the FNCS Invitational, NA strikes back and says, nah, not like this. Cold and scented. Really quickly, I do want to touch on this. At the start of the show, we talked about possibly taking your shoes off as a form of being comfortable. Taco, you're right.
It's a legitimate strategy, man. Anybody that has played competitive will tell you the same thing. It matters, but more importantly, what matters even more so is that jump in the leaderboard positionings that we are seeing happen now for Cold and Scented. A 41 placement jump. Granted, have to keep in mind that it's still a little bit of ways to go, but they are now breaking into that top 10.
Gosh, these leaderboards always seem to surprise me because even after this incredible game from Cold and Scented, they're still 34 points behind the leaders in Cami and Seti, who, shout out to them for holding the lead. But this is just so good from Cold and Scented. And this is the moment that we missed right here. This is the one that Cold was talking about. Queasy and Vino actually make a play. And this is actually classic for them. I've seen them do this in Elite Cups where, they try to quickly pinch a duo that is in these builds, and it usually works out very, very well, but Cold and Scented hold on very, very well, as Cold mentioned, making that instant edit, getting the shot in, and ultimately they realize Queasy and Vino were the ones on height, and let's go up and take it. And this right here, it's just all about riding the zone. Now you can see the zone point up there going right through the mountain. Henry Vortex just had no chance after that. Clean win from Scented and Cold, who, as you can see right there, what we're referring to, Scented, no shoes.
It makes all the difference, man.
It does, apparently, as proven by Scented. We do have Adam, who is standing by. He's hanging out with a player. Adam, who?
That's right, I'm hanging out with everyone right now, in particular Smite and Larson, everyone. Smite, that was an incredible display just then. We saw 7 eliminations. You clutched up, you had to. So how imperative is it in this situation, in this environment as well, that you have to try and gain as many points as possible, even when your teammate goes down?
It's really important. I mean, you need to get as many points as you can. Every point matters. Doesn't matter.
Now, you're being contested as well here, Larson. Muzz and Looter, they're looking like they're fighting each time. Are you guys up for this? How are you managing to deal with that when it comes at you?
We're down to fight every game, and I don't care, bro. I'll fight them every game.
You don't care, bro. They'll fight them every game. Give it up for Smite and Larson, everyone! Thanks, boys. And also over here, I'm delighted to be next to Peterbot and Jamper as well. Jamper! It's been what an experience being here in this situation, this environment. How are you guys dealing with the rest of the regions being here, competing with you in the same lobby?
Our original strategy hasn't been working, so we're gonna have to make changes into the next games. But it's very fun playing here. The crowd is amazing, and I'm happy to be here. And
there's still 10 games left, plenty of time to do that.
Yes.
Okay, you got this, you feeling confident? I'm feeling confident for you. The crowd are feeling confident too. Let's hear it from Peterbot and Jamper as we head back to Zeke and the desk.
Thank you so much for that insight coming out of the players. This is kind of what we've been talking about, right? The question has been, once all of these regions finally meet head-to-head on the island, what will happen? Will strategies hold? And the answer for some is no. Because who knew that having to adapt to a meta that is completely different than your own region that you've been playing for several FNCSs now is going to be very difficult.
But if it's anybody that has a strong head on their shoulders, it's going to be Jamper. He's been around for so long, and I love to hear him listen, we did the same strategy in games 1 and 2. It's not working. So let's just switch it up. And I love the fact that they are just able to kind of, have that mentality, but then also have a backup strategy. That's what's really important.
But that's just part of what it means to be part of the 50 of the best duos competing here for the FNCS Invitational title. But not only that, while they might be working on some changes, Cammy and Seti are a duo where if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They have been maintaining this first place position throughout the first 2 games, and it's definitely a very strong performance here out of this Polish duo. More importantly, I think that Cammy and Seti have just been able to consistently stay working throughout this mid-low ground element, despite the fact that we've been seeing a lot of high ground takes and a lot of high ground play from the close of the lobby. I think that Sadie and Kimmy did a great job just holding on to this underside congestion control.
You know, we talked about it after game one. It's like, whoa, Kimmy and Sadie are on high ground. This right here, this was more so their style, where it's just like, you know, we're paying attention to the high ground changes that are going on. And then all of a sudden, we load up the leaderboard, and it's like, okay, they had 44 points after game number one, and now they're at 77. They just got 33 points that game. When did that happen? You know what I mean? Like, they love to play these games where they don't like to show up and show out. They just consistently get those points. A couple elims here and there. They're not popping off the elimination feed, but they're just so consistent. And those are the type of games that are scary because, you know, we saw a great performance out of Cold and Scented, but still, even after game number two, they're still like 30-odd points behind because Cammy and Seti are playing so well.
And it's the competitive experience, I think, that also helps them with understanding, hey, even if I've lost my duo partner in this moment, I can still hold on for moments longer. I think that that was a great display there, that closing kit there for Seti and Cammy. And I think that ultimately, they're going to probably just keep trying to stay consistent here.
Yeah, I mean, one point we tuned in and they were 500 above Surge. I don't know how that's humanly possible, but for Seti and Cammy, it's just another day at the office. Let's talk about Queasy and Vino there.
Have to.
They did get edited on, right? And listen, we have, as the viewing audience, we have the much larger perspective, right? For them, in this opportunity, this was the only chance they had, and we're going to start to kind of figure out what happened.
Yeah, I'm hoping that, you know, throughout these replays right here, we can maybe catch